We played badly, don't get me wrong, but we won. We won pens, that's all that matters. We won pens.
I think Switzerland was tactically a little bit better, but it's penalties, it's a coin toss.
What's your thoughts on Southgate?
I have this hat for a reason. I've got Southgate out on the other side. I don't like him, but he's taken us this far, so let him win us the tournament. It's coming home.
It's coming home! It's coming! Football's coming home!
Welcome back to Football Trending. England are in the semi-finals, but will they beat Netherlands on Wednesday?
I don't know. I don't know what to think. We were much better against Switzerland. First half in particular. Still don't love the fact that Southgate is being reactive rather than proactive, waiting for us to go behind. But
we'll win 1-1, and then
we'll win 1-1.
Did we deserve to beat Switzerland?
Yes.
Yes, I think.
Yeah, we did.
I think on balance we probably did.
No, we didn't.
We limited their chances. We didn't have many chances either, but yeah,
they probably had more clear-cut /half chances than we did.
Possibly. But I think that there was a vast improvement on what we've seen for the first 4 games.
I don't think we've been awful for the two.
Oh, here we go.
I don't think we have. I don't think we've been awful for the two.
Give Southgate a new contract. Why not?
I think we've been relatively controlled and we've been boring. Don't get me wrong, but that's the game plan. That's how we're going to do it. France are an even more boring version of us. And look, I think I was thinking about it the other day. The Real Madrid team that won the Champions League, that game was not fun for a Real Madrid fan to watch, but in the crucial moments, their quality showed, and we have that quality in our team. So if Southgate is just relying on that quality and trying to control it as much as possible, then I'm all for it.
It is mad how many of the semi-finalists have played utterly dull football the entire time. Spain are the only side that have actually played a lot of good football.
Yeah.
Holland have switched it on.
And they should not be rewarded for that.
They should not
be rewarded.
This is anti-football now.
To be fair, Turkey, in my opinion, Turkey deserved to win that.
Yeah, they played very well.
That was the only game I didn't watch.
They did play well.
What a guy.
Do your research.
No, but Turkey, I watched the last 10 minutes as I was going back on my phone. Turkey had chances.
Yeah, they did.
The Netherlands keeper kept them in the game.
It'll be interesting to see who does win it. I mean, I saw something yesterday that said the chances are that, if England are going to win it, it is going to be the Greece-Portugal way of winning it.
I think that's harsh. I think it's...
Do you?
Yeah, I think we've controlled most of the games. We just haven't scored. We haven't been fluid. I think Portugal, when they did it, they drew every group game.
Yeah.
And were really bad and were lucky. Well, not lucky. There's no such thing as lucky in football, really. Fortunate to go through that group as a third-place team. We topped the group and then have shown... Look, the Slovakia one is, again, we rode our luck, but we've got that quality. So I think it's different to Greece and Portugal, where actually we've shown how good our players are in crucial moments. And
have we though?
Well, Saka's goal is a really, really good goal.
Yeah,
it's like underrated goal because he just sort of passes it into the off the post. It's like super accurate. Bellingham's is a great goal. I think both Bellingham's goals are good goals. Actually, well worked.
Yeah.
Well, the first one was, and I just think I'm comfortable with the way we're playing because overall I didn't think Switzerland were threatening us.
It's moments over properly good performances.
Exactly, and I think it's a bit of luck with moments, and you can't keep on buying luck.
It's not luck though. There is. I refuse to believe that there is luck in football. There just isn't.
So these moments. I expect my
players
to be doing it. Why do the teams with the best
players generally make it through to the final stage of tournaments? It's because they've got the best players who do it in key moments under pressure. It isn't lucky that Bellingham scored a bicycle kick. It was late on, but we'd been probing for a little while, and I think.
Okay, do you think England deserve to be where?
Yes, we deserve to be in the semi-finals because we are by virtue of the fact we are in the semi-finals.
Okay,
we deserve to be there.
Performance-wise,
yes.
Watch us be absolutely unbelievable in this semi-final.
We deserve to be there because
4-0.
We've got enough points in the group stages and beaten 2 teams in the knockouts. That's football. It's whether you think it's been good or whether you think it's been fun is a different story. But the team that scores more goals deserves to win.
Yeah, but we didn't score. We won on penalties, guys.
We scored more penalties, more goals.
I'm going to have to sit in between you two in a minute. Yeah. It's going to be a big old ding-dong, isn't there?
The whole anti-Southgate thing with the way he plays is actually... It is
Wasn't
a fair criticism.
Anti-Southgate last week?
No, I've never been anti-Southgate. I've been... You can call it boring. I think you said it was whether it was boring or bad last week. I think the further we go, the more
The less bad we're getting, the more boring.
but it's still. I mean, look, it wasn't an incredible watch. I would never say that about the way we played on Saturday night, but it wasn't bad. I don't think we were relatively controlled. We weren't creating chances, but we're playing against low blocks and against well organised teams. Like, this is international football. It is sometimes a bit like this.
Well, that's our reactions. Let's have a look at what the fans had to say after the game.
We played badly, don't get me wrong, but we won. We won pens, that's all that matters. We won pens.
We played well, I think, in the second half, especially, and overtime, there was a lot of pressure.
I think both teams played very well. I think Switzerland was tactically a little bit better, but it's penalties. It's a coin toss.
It was typical Gareth Southgate. It was reactive.
What about Saka?
Start of the game, no. End of the game, yes.
We played well. We're not trash in the first few games.
You got trash.
But we played very, very well this game. Got scary in the second half.
They knew they were going to win it in pens.
When Saka scored that bottom left, oh my God, it's coming home.
It's coming home! It's coming! Football's coming home!
I think the further we go, there is less argument for it being bad football. And
It's still bad.
It's still
football.
boring football. But there's less argument that you could call it bad because it is working. And it might be because the fail-safe is that we're fucking great at penalties.
Guys,
maybe he's focused on the marginal gain of penalties so much.
Yeah.
The rest of the game is just a means to
Just
get in there.
do what you have to do to get through.
I generally think it's bad football. You can't go 1-0 down against, was it Slovakia?
You can.
And Switzerland and come back 1-1.
The frustrating thing for me, there's been a lot of talk about how long it's taken Gareth Southgate to make changes in games. I hate watching a reactive manager, and it might be because as Liverpool fans, we've been spoiled with Jurgen Klopp, who Liverpool are often in control of games anyway, but he is proactive in the way that he manages teams. Gareth Southgate is the absolute opposite. I am sick of watching England do nothing for 45 minutes, then go behind, and then Gareth Southgate in the 80th minute decides that you need to do something about it.
It is seriously interesting. So we done the Vox, obviously, after the game. And it's slowly, let's have a watch of the Vox. What's your thoughts on Southgate?
I have this hat for a reason. I've got Southgate out on the other side. I don't like him, but he's taken us this far, so let him win us the tournament.
He's Southgate. He's boring. We got so many forward attackers. Give him an opportunity.
He's not the right man, is he? I don't know. Do you think he's the right man?
I'm interviewing you. He's got us to the semis. I don't necessarily agree with what he's doing.
I think he's good for the vibes he brings, but tactically he's not there, is he? We should be doing a back five. It should be Saka on the left wing, Trent on the right, and just get Bellingham, Foden, Kane working together. Yeah, that's what I think.
Southgate, the guy. Overall, I think he's dealt with the whole situation really well. He's been aware of the criticism and protected the players. Like last week, he said, "Look, blame me all you want. Get behind the players." And I think he's dealing with the situation really well. There's no doubt, I don't think, of the man he is, how good a manager of people he is. And there has always been these questions about his tactical acumen or whatever. But actually,
I agree with that.
Sometimes
as a person, I like having him. I mean, the guy in there that said he's good for the vibe, I don't think that means the vibe that he gives the fans currently necessarily, but the vibe around the culture that he's built in that team, I do generally, unless you're Ben White, you probably do agree with that. I think I did see he'd spoken to somebody over the last couple of days and basically said he doesn't think it's normal the amount of criticism that his technical credentials have had, and the fact that he said, having beer thrown at you as an England manager is not normal. So he's clearly still shouldering a lot of that, and I'm not sure that kind of criticism will completely go away before the end of the Euros. But again, it's very hard to argue with it now going into a semi-final. And we said just before we started rolling, if we get to a second Euros final in a row, and the runs that we've had at the World Cups. It's very difficult to look at it other than a successful tenure.
Okay, so now flip that. You got to 4 major competition finals and you don't win any of them.
Yeah.
Guys, come on.
Valid, but we lost.
We lost against good teams.
We should have beaten Italy, and there was a bit of the dark arts there. We could have easily have beaten France at the World Cup.
Yeah, we played really well against France.
We could have beaten France.
I think that was a real moment for Southgate because that tournament, we'd played our best football. The 2018 World Cup, we were really, really difficult to beat and we relied on set pieces. throughout the tournament, basically. Like, it was our most common route to goals. 2021, we played some decent stuff, but again, like 1-0 against Croatia, we weren't incredible, but we scored a good goal. 0-0 against Scotland, people were saying this is the same things, the same criticisms have always been there with Southgate. Then the World Cup in Qatar, I actually think we played our best football. It was sort of, we beat Iran, and we drew 0. But the criticisms have always been there of Southgate, but we've always had players that have come into form. Whereas I think actually this is a team of players that actually haven't quite clicked, and that's the problem more so than Southgate, in my opinion. It's the click between the players, and sometimes that's the hardest part of a forward line of players. I was thinking about Kane and Bellingham the other day, where it was like, you've got a striker that's been dropping deep and scoring a lot of goals for Bayern, but Bellingham has been playing as a 9 rather than a 10 all season long, and you've got two players that sort of have done similar but different all season. You're trying to make them, and it's all complex and difficult, and it's about habits and picking up on cues from each other, and it's difficult to build in a major tournament when actually we haven't played that much football.
And that's together. Actually my issue with Southgate is he's trying to play a Bellingham and a Kane and a Foden. He's trying to play his best players, and it ruins the balance. It generally ruins the balance of...
But it's too late to change it, I think. Once you're there at a major tournament with that as the plan, changing it at a major tournament... The most nervous I've been is when he was tinkering with the midfield and Trent out, and then changing from Gallagher to Mainu. And I was like, this is, at a major tournament, feels like too late to tinker.
I think our balance was better on Saturday. I think having the wing-backs, regardless of the fact that I don't think you should be playing Saka as a fucking wing-back, but the balance was better. I think the thing that you're saying about getting to X number of finals and not winning any of them, obviously you would hope that you would win them. But the point is, anyone can win and anyone can lose a cup final. That comes down to just on the day of. I don't think Southgate is the manager that you would want in order to win those finals, particularly. But he has still got us there. And I've been very, very critical of him in this competition. We looked better. I see no reason as to why he would go back from playing that sort of back three and wing backs now. He will do that against the Netherlands.
I didn't think we actually changed that much from the opening games, because Walker is very, very conservative. Trippier is sort of naturally conservative but starts higher anyway and has been doing all tournament. The major difference was that Foden was almost like brought in more consistently rather than operating out on the left. I still think it was basically a back four, because Saka was super high. He wasn't playing wing back, was he? It was basically a 5 out of possession, and then we reverted to sort of quite fluid and changeable when we were going forward. The whole thing with the 3 at the back was almost like media hype, and we didn't really. There was no real difference.
I think in the
Saka
first 10 minutes
on the left. Surely.
I think in the first 10 minutes, everyone was a bit confused to like what we're playing, because it's like you couldn't. You see 5 at the back, you couldn't really work it out on the pitch. But if you're playing that system, and who was kind of playing like an inverted, was it Walker or Trippier?
Well, you had Trippier playing left wing back, shall we say?
Yeah.
Saka was playing right wing back. Again, I don't really think he did. And then
it was
Walker's a right centre half. Concert was left centre half with Stones in the middle of them. But actually, Walker operated as he has done all tournament.
A fullback, basically.
Concert operated in the exact same way that Gay has, and Trippier didn't really change much. He might have started a little bit higher, but other than that, it was no different. And part of me thinks, if I was Gareth Southgate, I'd be like, everyone's saying that we changed. Actually, it shows how little you know about the game. If I was Southgate right now, I'd be so motivated. And I think this is the sad thing, but also happens in football all the time. When the fans are critical of you to the extent that beers thrown is like too far.
That is mental though.
The way that you flip it in the dressing room, and I saw when I was at Swindon, this exact thing was sort of happening. It was almost like, well, we'll fucking show him then. And it was like, it's a different sort of motivation. The optimum is everyone pulling in the same direction. Fans support players. Players love playing for the fans. The sort of Liverpool Klopp sort of index of the way it should be. But the flip side of that, and how you get sometimes the best out of players, is like, you've got to prove your own fans wrong. Like, they're being critical of you. You've got to go and get after it. Because they're critical of you, and it's a chance to prove them wrong rather than a chance to prove them right and use that support. And I think that will be the message now, because, we're past the point where people can say we're all behind Southgate, because he's had beers thrown at him, he's had booze in the ground. And I personally really hope for him as a person that he's able to turn around and be like, I did that. We did it my way. It was fucking boring, but I got the job done. Would you rather have won it playing the football that we played, or not won it playing really expansive football? And the answer is always, we'd rather win it. But I think we'll do it. I actually just have a funny feeling that it's going to be boring, and that's the way it's going to be. But it could be an England-France final for an all-time absolute hate watch from both teams. But I think we've got the players to exist in the really key moments, and we've shown that throughout the tournament. So I think,
do you think
I'm starting to believe.
I think it's set up nicely, like the storyline, the narrative is set up very nicely for us to win. But that's all fairy tales. That's literally all fairy tales. It starts off shit, keep on going, and we end up winning it. I just don't think we're winning. I think Netherlands knocks us out. I think they actually beat us comfortably. I genuinely think they beat us comfortably. I think by 2, maybe even 3.
Depends what Cody Gakpo is doing, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they have
£150 million Cody Gakpo.
They have players that could really hurt us. You have Verge, you have Jeremy Frimpong. Like, we have not played a team of that quality yet in this tournament.
Yeah, we haven't.
And
there's a massive unknown about this semi. And we said it the other day. We could play better against teams that come on to us a little bit more.
Yeah.
So,
and also, I think the way that the Netherlands have been playing actually puts them in a good position against us.
They've hit some decent form off the back of it. And yes, it has been mainly down to players like Cody Gakpo that have grabbed them by the scruff. Yeah. But they have hit better form than we have. They'll be well up for it.
And don't get twisted, Netherlands' midfield, they might not be as known as our Bellinghams, our Fodens, but they
still
have,
top.
They have been absolutely killing it.
Renders has had a brilliant tournament. He's probably been one of my favourite players to watch in the whole thing, just like the way he sort of dictates and his little passes.
And then when they have someone like Jeremy Frimpong playing right mid and right wing, it's a different type of unknown, because he's just do this the whole time. He'll do this the whole time. So now whoever's playing on the left side has to actually now track. Otherwise, it's just 2v1 all the time. Something very special did happen over the weekend, and that's England won on penalties.
It's not special anymore. We do this all the time.
But the beautiful thing about it is my boys Saka, Bellingham, Cole Palmer, who else? Trent,
Toney.
Mate.
They all bagged. Pickford, shout out to you, big save. I know you're watching this. And after 2 years ago at the Euros, you was watching it with me, Joe. I was just like, please don't miss. Please don't miss.
Yeah, there was an element with Saka. It was like, oh, not again. Like, please,
it
not
can't
again.
happen again.
And I generally think it would have happened again if he missed. I don't think people would have learned their lessons, but
I don't think there is, like, ultimately it's like, is there a lesson to be learned? Like, it's inherently bad what they did. Like, and I think everyone that commented with whatever at the last Euros did it and would do it again. Like, it's just, there's been processes put in place now where social media companies can actually prevent it more and protect players more from it. And like, it's ultimately, like, it's never going to go away. You will always have pricks, like, which is so sad. But actually, I think what has been great about the last few years is, we spoke about it before, the response to Saka after the last Euros compared to, it's different, but the Beckham scenario and like English football fandom has improved, in my opinion, where actually there is more of a response against that level of abuse and negativity than there was 15, 20 years ago. But yeah, I mean, I was desperate for him to score more than anyone. It was just please, Saka. Like, he's such a nice, like, we were talking about, he's like the star boy, but actually, and like, where does he go when he's like 30 and like a leader in the team? Yeah. But he's just one of the most well-liked people in the country.
And he had an unbelievable game as well.
If anyone deserved really to score in that penalty shootout, it was him.
Just from a personal point of view, in terms of your own penalty, potentially exercising some demons from 2021, how did that feel when you looked like you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I think, you know, for me, it's something I embrace. You know, you can fail once, but you have a choice whether you put yourself in that position or not again. And, you know, I'm a guy who's going to put myself in that position. And, yeah, I believed in myself. And, you know, when I saw the ball hit the net, I was a very happy man.
just a normal routine, or any nerves, any thoughts of 2021 as you do the long walk to get there?
No, I'm not going to be focusing on the past. That's done. I can only focus on now and taking the penalty. Of course, I know there's a lot of nervous people watching, my family included in the crowd, but I kept my cool and I scored.
Obviously, Sancho and Marcus Rashford both missed 2 years ago, and Sancho had a really nice tweet basically saying, "I'm so proud of this guy. He done it for me and Marcus," which we'll get up on the screen. So also, it was nice to see Sancho supporting, because all three of them, I feel like sometimes people forget that it wasn't just Saka that went through it all. It was Jadon Sancho, it was Marcus Rashford. Yeah. So it was nice to see them supporting. And also the standard of the penalties as well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, to be honest, Toney, I was watching it at the pub and I was like,
there's no way.
I was like, when he first took it, I was like, has he looked at the ball? And then the replay from ITV, it's like,
he's looking dead onto the camera.
Just looking, he may as well just have been looking straight down the barrel of the camera going like, yes, I'm scoring this.
Have you seen the clip of Tom Skinner eating pie and mash and he's pouring the liquor gravy on it? It's like Ivan Toney taking his penalty. Like...
And of course, you know me, I never ever look when I pour, because I am the absolute governor.
There was a little rumour that, I don't know if anyone's seen the video of Trent speaking to his brother.
He says someone doesn't want to take one.
Basically insinuating, and this could be so wrong by the way, this is all allegedly, Foden doesn't want to take a penalty. What's your thoughts on that? I don't think Foden's the player to now turn up.
I ultimately think, to be honest, if someone says that they don't want to take a penalty,
don't let them take it.
They don't have to. Yeah. Not because it's about them shirking responsibility. I think a lot of the time, if a player says they don't want to take a penalty, it's because they're not confident that they will do it, and that they will score, and therefore, if someone says they're not up for it, they're not up for it. In the same way, Gareth Southgate, again, lots of talk about Trent through this tournament. Not playing him anywhere near enough as some people would like, not playing him in the right positions.
Playing him too much at the start of the tournament.
Playing him too much at the start of the tournament, supposedly. To then call on him...
It's mental.
To come on and take a penalty, having not used him. That shows balls of fucking steel. Yeah. Trent, we know, is a generational talent and he can take penalties, he can take free kicks. We all know that. For him to have come on in the dying seconds...
When
step
did he
up
actually
and go
come
also,
on in the game?
Like 2 minutes left, or like 3 minutes left.
116 minutes or something. For him to have come on and to have gone absolutely top bins, wash, absolutely unbelievable.
I like, even Bellingham said it, and pundits always say it's so hard for a player to come on for 2-3 minutes
and to get in the headspace.
And now to get in the headspace, take a penalty. For Trent, he already knows that if he comes on and misses penalty, mate, everyone back home is going to be...
Could you imagine with the comments that were made about him being out of position, everyone say, drop Trent, do this, that and the other. Could you imagine if he'd missed that penalty?
There would have been blood on his hands.
We talk about footballers like they are just robots.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like having the sort of self-awareness. Like, even say if Toney, right, he scores every penalty he takes, basically. Calmest under pressure, it seems. In certain situations, and it might not be the most pressurised penalty he's ever taken, but sometimes it does just get to you. It's not every single time you can just take a penalty under pressure. It is unique scenarios. It's about the way he's feeling on that specific day. It could have been that his confidence got knocked in the game. And even if Foden is the one, we don't know it, or if anyone didn't want to take a penalty, the self-awareness to be like,
actually, I can't.
I trust my teammates enough.
Yeah,
that is a very good thing. The fact that Harry Southgate was able to bring off Kane because he trusted, that is, and ultimately, like, not to bring it back too far, swing it back to Southgate too much. The reason we won that penalty shootout
it's because of Southgate.
It's because of Southgate.
No, it's not.
It's his process. It's his way of doing it. And
it's the best set of England penalties we have quite possibly ever seen.
Have we lost a shootout under Gareth Southgate?
Italy,
we've lost one, I think, in his whole time as manager. His record on penalties is, apart from as a player,
we don't have to talk about the quality of the penalties. That is one of the best sets of penalties I've ever seen. And yes, I jibe saying that it's not great that you brought Trent on purely for a penalty, but you do have to get to the end of extra time confident that you have the players on the pitch that will do that.
100%. But I think a manager, before every penalty, when it goes full time, you ask your players that are on the pitch who wants to take a penalty.
No.
Yes.
It's the other way round with him.
You think so?
He knew, right, these are my penalty takers. He didn't let any... I was reading about this morning on the Athletic. He had a specific process that he went.
He had a process,
he
isn't
did, mate. It's unbelievable. It's really, really good management. It's like simple.
So what was his process then? Go on.
So the thing that I was reading about was the whole Switzerland team was in this massive huddle, and their manager was just going through who was like, he was asking, and there was just like a motivational talk. Southgate had only the takers and the players that were on the pitch. He had this like buddy system where the players that weren't in the top 5 were talking to the players that were taking it. So you say I'm the first penalty taker, you're my buddy, you walk up with me to the, not all the way, but you're just chatting to me.
Just and keeping the noise out.
Yeah, and then as soon as you've taken it, you're the one that celebrates with him. And look, it's built on science. It's not, like, the guy that helped him within the setup, I can't remember the guy's name, has written a book about penalty process.
It was like what Klopp used to do at Liverpool was he used Jordan Henderson every time we had a penalty, so that basically the opposition couldn't get to Mo Salah or whoever was taking the penalty.
Yeah.
Jordan Henderson would walk up to the penalty spot,
and just stand
Salah
there.
would be behind,
Yeah.
and Henderson would stand there
That's like a
and
bodyguard.
take the barrage from the keeper, from the defender, from the referee, whatever was going on, so that by the time Salah stepped up, it was all diffused and everyone was out the box, so that Salah could just step up and take that penalty.
One of the Switzerland fans that you spoke to called it a coin toss. It's not a coin toss. It is skill. It is management of pressure. So for Southgate to have a process for basically like how many games per tournament are decided by penalties? You have at least one, but generally, in every round, and a team that makes the final generally has won on penalties at some point. So it's just good management. It's like almost like crisis management and proactive management of that scenario. And part of me thinks I don't think he actually goes in with this mindset. Part of me thinks that he's so confident in the process of penalties, he's okay going to penalties.
And
I mean, that would speak a lot about the way that we play football.
I mean, he doesn't explain the 2 group games that didn't go to penalties, but it's like...
they were group games, Ben. They couldn't go to penalties.
That's exactly what I meant.
He's just happy to be
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for coming.
But I think he's okay with it. He's got total trust in the players.
That would explain why we haven't tried to win games.
Okay, question. before we wrap up, we go to penalties against Netherlands, hypothetically. Do we win that penalty shootout?
Yes.
I think they will genuinely believe that they do. And to be honest, off what we saw on Saturday, you would have to back them. If that's not be funny, it's worked once.
Yeah.
If it got to 115 minutes in and any of those players weren't on the pitch, I guarantee you after that, Southgate.
It's the ultimate way to win the tournament, in my opinion. Where it's like, as England fans, where we've had like
Portugal
this like, penalty
done it. They got knocked out in the next round on penalties. Yeah. So this whole thing on penalties, I think it's...
but they don't have Southgate, the master.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love us to get to the final, win 3-0, and it be done by half time.
Yeah.
But as you said, with kind of the dark arts that have gone against us before with penalties, it would be very satisfying.
Yeah,
it would be.
What is it? Cathartic.
Yeah,
just like all those years of hurt.
That's it. And for Southgate personally, that puts a lot to bed for him.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for today. England versus Netherlands in 48 hours. Will we be having a football trending after the Euros final
special?
Week?
Oh yeah, I think it's awards night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's awards night next week.
Next week, awards night. That's all we got time for today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.